What's going on, guys? Welcome to part 4 of the right-hand drive conversion on my 92 Integra. So I got the clip, my brother got it stripped down for me, and we got the subframe off last night. Out here in Arizona, it's been raining non-stop for 2 days straight, so we are kind of in our little porch and threw a tarp up to block the wind and whatnot. So it's supposed to be clearing up tomorrow, which will be Saturday the 24th or something. So tomorrow I'm trying to have the firewall swapped because it's supposed to be high 50s and sunny, so that's pretty much my best chance to get everything welded up. I picked up some zinc. Basically it's primer, but it's got zinc and stuff in it so you can weld it, and it prevents corrosion. And a big issue with welding while there's moisture in the air is moisture can get under the welds or in the welds, so you spray that down, you let it sit for a few minutes, and then you can weld over it, and it basically just keeps the welds clean and free of corrosion. So I will be doing that. Obviously there's not a whole lot to, there's just a lot of holes, so I don't have to do any like crazy coats, just a quick spritz down the line, weld all the holes shut, and then after everything's welded I will lay another coat of that over it, and then I will be rubber coating it, and then I will be seam sealer. That's what I forgot to buy today. Well, you know what, I'll have to go back. But yeah, so I'm not going to really film all this. This is the exact same stuff that I did on the chassis itself, wire wheeling to get all the seam sealer off, drilling out the holes, but I might update you guys here and there. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and get as much of this knocked out as I can so I can get this firewall out. Alright, just giving you guys a quick update. Got the all the spot welds exposed. Been out here for like 2.5 hours almost, wire wheeling and chiseling away. By the way, that wire wheel that goes on a cutoff, like whatever those things are, can't think of what it's called, whatever, on a grinder or whatever, that wheel just flings everywhere, because if you use like a regular wire wheel, it kind of just turns into dust and flies everywhere, but the other stuff turns it into like string and it covers you. Like I am soaked in it. But yeah, so I already went through and tapped out most of the holes. I got a few more to finish up over here. I just flung something in my face, so I had to go wash it off quick. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish puncturing them, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, and get to drilling. So another update, we are now into the second day of working on the clip. It is pretty much ready to come out. My brother is just getting the last bit of like tack welds, booger welds, whatever you want to call them, but I believe I've got everything, all the spot welds needed to be drilled out for the firewall. I will be having to separate the panels for the dash bar and fuse panel mounting location. I'm pretty sure the firewall has to be out to get those out, because it kind of tucks up underneath this part of the, right here. It's this panel here, but both sides, they just flip-flopped obviously, but I got these spot welds that come around here, and a few booger welds down here that also are part of it. I think this center section tucks up under here. You can see the seam there, so I think this has to be off. So we're just working on getting the firewall out. That's the most important part. Don't know exactly how to pry this apart, so we're kind of just getting these cut, and then we'll just start prying. So this is the part that's kind of been screwing with me this whole time, is getting the firewall separated. Like, I don't know how. Obviously there's no pictures or videos on this. So a few people told me I had to take these panels off right here for the door bar and the dash panel and stuff, or the fuse box and stuff, but it's just held in. Let me show you, yeah, right here. So this little like half a moon looking thing right here is on both cars, both sides, and that's all that the dash bar thing is tacked to. As for the fuse box, mine's relocated anyway, so you can self-tapper it in, because these panels are really a pain to get off. You do have to have the dash out, or the firewall out, because looks like there's some spot welds underneath. Like right here, you can see we've already got it split here. We're working on separating it. So yeah, firewall should be coming out here in a few minutes. But yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing it instead, is drilling off these spot welds. These 3 spot welds right here, and I think there's like one right, no, I think it's just 3. And then I'll re-weld this onto the car itself. save myself some time. You perfectionists, you can cry about it. I'm gonna be the one that's actually got my car put together, and probably a 30-minute less time span than it'll take you, so suck it. But yeah, I'll try and film it when we get this thing actually pulled out of the car here in a minute. All right, so we got all the spot welds drilled out, all the beads broken, but there is some little hidden welds that nobody told me about. So if this is the incorrect way and you guys that have done this have done it differently, then I please let me know. Even though it'll be too late for your advice to be of any sort of help to me. Can't even really see it, but inside here, like behind this panel, there's let me see, oh, it's way too dark. But there's like a tack weld in here basically. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it right there. Trying to, yeah, it's like right where the tip of the screwdriver is. There's a weld that you gotta split right there because it's yeah, that's the only thing holding it up. So they just split that side, so now this side's coming apart much better now. Oh, yeah. So we got to do the other side quick. I'm gonna go grind off the last few welds in that car, and then that one should be in the same position as this one. We have to go a different route with this. Basically, the way the DA chassis is, for everybody I've talked to and everything that I've seen on different chassis, you take the firewall, the start of the floor pan, like where the firewall comes down to, the cowl, the wiper gutter and everything, that all comes out as one piece essentially. And for the DA, you can eventually do it the same way, but I don't know. We have decided to go the route of, I guess, the easy way or the incorrect way, depending on however you want to word it. We are cutting the firewall out here, the section that we need. Sorry for the light. Yeah, so we're cutting out exactly where we need, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're drilling out the spot welds on the bottom side of the cowl here, so that way we can line it up that way. And we're just going to weld it like that, do it like normal, seam seal it and whatnot. And then for the steering column and stuff, I already went ahead and got that part of the car taken out. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This section right here. So I still have to weld this up. There's a little thing behind that I have to drill off that I haven't done so yet. But I bolted this all up just to make sure it works. I still got to take that one off for the left-hand drive steering column. But I mean, yeah. I've seen a few forum ways, especially on CRXs. I found two on CRX of a guy doing it this way. I just can't see any other way to do it because the way the gutter is on the DA, it's like so intertwined in here, we literally have to rip the chassis apart because this seam down here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's like cowl, gutter, inside frame rail, A-pillar, then this piece. And there's a bunch of seam welds inside there that are just not accessible. So I don't know how to get that out. I don't have time. I don't have any of that to try and figure it out. So the only downside to doing it the way that I'm doing it is my wipers. Not that I have windshield wipers anyway, because it's extremely hard for me to source out parts for those. But I won't have them the correct orientation essentially. So not the end of the world. Aesthetically pleasing, not really, but you know what? I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it type thing. But this is the way that I'm going to proceed with. I care more about my safety and the car being able to get back on the road than I care about the, I guess, the correct way or the politically correct way to do it, because this way is not damaging the structural integrity of the car. All the spot welds that I drilled out before, I will just fill up as normal, but I did not actually separate the layers on that car yet. I just drilled it all out. So the structural rigidity is still there. Doing it how we had to on that corner to even get that separated, doing it normal, ruined it. And I can't justify doing that to that car. I guess this is why the DAs, there's no write-ups on it, because nobody wants to put forth the effort to go through all that trouble. So I'm going to do it this way. Hopefully you guys understand. And I also want to mention that on top of seam welding it all and whatnot, I am going to be making bracing just to be extra safe on the inside. So like say we weld it here or whatever, I'm going to take pieces of like slips of metal that I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to do like a stitch across here, stitch across here, stitch across here to have that extra support, like so that way it's not just a butt weld, a bunch of butt welds. That way I'm actually getting like more layer. So this piece right here I just drilled out. This is for the dash bar for the new driver side, aka obviously the right side. Like I said, we just it's already the exact same thing here, so obviously this is in the way. Let me move this quick. Alright, so here we go. I got that moved. So yeah, as you can see, it'll literally, it's already like formed to it as well. So I'll just weld this in place, and then my dash bar, whoops, can bolt to it. Really simple. And for this one, the only difference between them obviously is this bottom piece. Now I'm going to reuse this bottom piece if I need to, but the issue with it is I cannot get the drill bit up here, so I'm going to end up basically just cutting this straight off, and then I'll pull the windshield because it's just kind of resting here, so I can get these tacks off if I need to. But then I will drill this off of this section. But for now, I'm just going to like actually just straight cut this all off, because this piece I believe is just support for the steering column. But yeah, obviously I can form it and weld it as I need to. Accidentally bent this stud, so I'll have to bend that back. But yeah. Alright, so it looks like my brother just got the firewall out. So all this just for a right-hand drive conversion. So yeah, we're gonna have to just clean up the edges or whatever. That only takes a few minutes.
You throw the flapper wheel on here and just...
Yeah, and then just give it a quick wipe down, get all the dirt and stuff off. And then, yeah, like I said, just basically do the exact same thing in here now. And we'll be swapping that instead. Just to show you guys what I did for the dash bar. We're just about to test fit the dash, but I just wanted to show you really quick. Yeah, you can see I just tacked it in place, tacked the right-hand drive one in place so the dash bar fits, so that way it eliminated the need to cut this whole section of panel out when all you need is that. I will have to figure out the fuse box mounting location situation, but you know what? I can just drill this off and use some self-tappers or something. Not ideal, but it works. So for this, I just outlined where I have to wire wheel or flapper disc to so I can weld this. I'll have to do that and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna test fit this dash right quick. Had to cut the video off last night. Had to go pick up my girlfriend from the airport. Didn't get home till later. So while I was gone though, my brother got the firewall cut out of the car. Where did I just rest the other one? This is the good firewall. This is the old firewall. So I already lined it up, or he did, and I just pulled it back off, but it lines up almost perfect. So now I just got to go in here, take the wire wheel and whatnot, and clean up all the edges. Same thing on the firewall itself. Then I'm going to zinc coat it with the zinc primer I have, so that way it's protected, and so I can weld it, because you can. It's the weldable zinc enriched primer stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. Got a lot of seam sealer to clean up, and yeah, hopefully this goes pretty smoothly. So should be okay. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so I got the firewall and the car cleaned up of any seam seal and debris where I'm going to be test fitting it. So I'm going to test fit it really quick, see where we need to trim or make any changes. I also used a hammer to straighten out all the panels and whatnot a little bit, so it's as clean of a fit as I can get it. So yeah, let's line it up, and then once it's ready, then I'll finish cleaning it up, tack it in place, and move on. So right off the bat, realized we cut it big, so we had more material to work with. off the new passenger side, we have to take off about 1/4 inch, and then there's just these little bolt like screw things that they put here on the from the factory for like ECU mounting. Oh, you stalled from the ECU mounting location. So I'm gonna just grind all those off because that will interfere with my pedal travel, and I just don't want to be stabbing my foot anytime like I put my foot down, you know. So I'm gonna grind all those off, and that should clear up room for the driver's side of the firewall. And then yeah, just trim that 1/4 inch off. Oh, it's like right there. Just needs to come down a little bit more.
A little bit more where?
It's hard to tell for me. Why don't you come? Because this is all like almost perfectly flush down here.
Where?
Actually, I gotta trim off this.
Come inside right here. I'll hold this up. Come in here.
I got a hair of seam sealer holding it up right here in this driver's side.
We're perfect inside here. You just gotta come. I don't know. You gotta come see this.
Should be there. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like right there. So we pretty much got it almost perfect now. Don't mind this gap. There's a little bit of a buildup down there that we just gotta clean up really quick, and then this will just push against it. But the rest of this is lining up super mint. So this, once we clean up that corner, this will line up better. But yeah, it's really coming together. And for both of us having absolutely zero experience with like body work and whatnot, it's coming out good. We will have to make a little square section, which isn't bad, for just right here. Just the way we had to cut it out, so that's not bad. It's all getting seam sealed anyway. But yeah, it's almost there. I'm very excited. Not bad for a couple of guys with some Harbor Freight tools and a driveway. Alright, so I've got the firewall all surface prepped, or edge prepped, or whatever, for welding. I'm going to be using this zinc enriched primer like I said, so I'm going to go ahead and spray that because it does want you to let it flash for at least like 15 minutes before you weld. I got the exterior of the engine bay grinded down, ready to weld. I'm gonna spray this, and then in the meantime I'm gonna go work on wire wheeling out the inside for the welds in there. And by the time I'm done in there, the firewall will be ready to weld on. It will be zinc coated and protected, and then I'll just I don't know, I'll spray the inside and outside edges of the metal where I'll be welding in there, probably go make something to eat quick, and then when I come back out it'll be ready to weld. We can get this friggin' firewall welded in. I'm so excited. So it's been a little bit now. This all seems to be pretty darn dry, so we're gonna go ahead and slap it in and try and give it some welds. Alright, so my brother had to go do a quote for somebody for a detail. So I'm trying to do this on my own right now. For this part, the firewall, I've rested it in place. What I'm trying to do is hammer all the panels back so that way they're all as flush as I can get them, but I can't really do that and hold the firewall at the same time, so I'm going to lay a couple little tacks here and there, just easily accessible ones, that way I can cut them off if I need to. But yeah, I'm going to just put a few tacks down so that way I can hold the firewall in place and kind of hammer at stuff. So what we're doing here to get everything to line up, I threw some tacks inside. I threw some tacks on the bottom here, realized that my wire wheeling was a little too low, so I had to do some more. So the firewall is like solidly held in place for the most part, but we're trying to get the seam here to be tighter As you can see, it's kind of janky right here. I got the tack here, but we're gonna smack this up. So what my brother's done is he's used a clamp to hold it taut, and use the hammer to smack it up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tack it all. Just probably lay a couple right along here, and should be good. Figure I'd give you guys a quick little update here. I have got the firewall completely in place. Like it is definitely not going anywhere. I'm not doing stitch welds, like seam welds, like I had originally intended to, because even though I've got the good welder now, there's just so much seam seal stuffed in there still that it just really doesn't, it's hard to ignite. So I'm doing a bunch of tacks, like small stitches, tacks, all the way across. I've done them, I've still got to fill that, but I've done them all the way across the bottom, and then I've gone on the inside, and I have done them all along here, just a whole bunch of them, whole big old mess of them. So yeah, gonna be working on filling that little gap that I got over there because of the cutting it just a hair short, but I got metal for that. And then after that, I will spray some more primer stuff on it, the zinc stuff, and then after that it's just a matter of me filling all these holes. So really not looking forward to filling the holes, but you know, it's gotta get done. So I've got, like I said in the last clip, the firewall is pretty much all good. I'm just finishing and working on filling all the holes. And then after that, my seam sealer and my ball joints and tie rods and stuff will be here tomorrow. I gotta go pick those up after work. So yeah, just gonna finish filling these holes, all the fun stuff, and seam seal it all. I'll change out the suspension later on this week when I have some time. And then yeah, once this is, I mean, technically I'm just ready for wiring now. So as soon as AD is available to come by, hopefully later this week or this coming weekend, we can get that knocked out. It's going to be decently simple, just using the left-hand drive harness, flipping it, and extending some wires, and then just resoldering the wires that I ended up cutting, pulling the harness out. But yeah, so wiring, put motor in, new clutch line, 2 new brake lines, put everything back in. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I don't really know. Hopefully this goes by quickly. Hopefully this all gets assembled in a decent rate of time, and I don't completely screw it up. Anyways guys, do what you love, forget about the rest, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.